All right, let's talk about them. So, yeah, gave some time to chill, relax, and kind of think over our draft picks tonight. And here's my thoughts and opinions, right? I still love them. And I think, well, yes, there were some players tonight that we could have taken over other players. I think it works out in our best interest in the end. And hear me out here, okay? Because to start the second round off, it was very, very tricky. You had a lot of guys that we could potentially have taken go off the board very quickly. I mean, with the 36th overall pick, Johnny Newton's off the board, right? Okay. 38th overall pick, DeAndre Sweat's off the board. Then you have a run on cornerbacks back to back after having a little mini run on defensive linemen. So when you go on the board here at 49, would I take, Chris Jenkins over any of these other players on the board right here? And my answer to that question is absolutely no. Not even close, not even a chance in heck. Because I think Chris Jenkins is a better prospect than all the players that I listed right there. Now, when it comes to Chris Jenkins, I understand his limitations, and I understand he's not a guy who's going to be like Byron Murphy, who's going to go out there and be able to pass rush, run, stop, and do a little bit of everything. But we don't need him to. Guys, you got to keep in mind one big thing. We lost DJ Reader. We lost a nose tackle. And we lost a guy who can shut down the run. We needed to replace that. And that's exactly what we did tonight. What we did tonight was we didn't go best player available. And I truly believe we did not go best player available. I believe there were better players on the board with all three of our picks tonight. What we did was based on team needs and the best fit for our team. And that's what we got out of, first off, Chris Jenkins. Chris Jenkins, again, as it says right here, is the strongest player in this entire draft class. That's not a thing to take lightly. 305 pounds, 6'3". We could not stop the run last year. The Texans ran the ball all over us. Every team did. The only way you're going to stop that is by getting guys that can stop the run. That's what Chris Jenkins is. Imagine if our defense last year could stop the run and shut down the run. Well, that's why we got two guys in the second and then the third round that can shut down the run. And he's one of the strongest players in this draft. 12% of people thought we were going to draft him anyway. But as it says right here, holds up very well against double teams. Again, something we don't always have on this defensive line, so far. Pound for pound, he might be the strongest player in the draft. Effective at using the corkscrew technique. Really quick, lateral first steps to cross, face, and slash gaps. He has short arms, which will expose versus longer linemen. And yes, that will be a problem. And that's something you can't teach, right? That's just called genetics. That's just called him being born with shorter arms. Not that big of a deal. You know who else had shorter arms? Geno Atkins. Yeah, he was pretty good, wasn't he? Short arms also proved to be an issue when trying to get distance as leverage when disengaging blocks. Short arms always show up as a weakness when tackling. First step upfield pass rush is not explosive as his lateral step. This can be fixed by learning through Lou and learning through our defensive coaches. The rest of it, again, the short arm thing, it sucks, but we're not going to be utilizing him in that situation where he's going to have to be a pass rusher. We're going to utilize him more as a nose tackle. And we're going to utilize both of our defensive lineman picks in this second and third round here with McKinley Jackson as well, who again is another guy who's a humongous human being, 6'2", not really tall-wise, but 325 pounds, and he's exactly the same as Chris Jenkins. We've only just got the same exact player, but cloned him twice, and he's a little bit worse than Chris Jenkins. He's a slippery one-gap penetrating defensive lineman who can play nose tackle, exactly what we need, and a 3 technique in a 4-3 scheme. His lack of arm length limits his pass rushing as sort of potential, but he can be successful as a pass rusher in rotation. So a little bit better on the pass rushing side for McKinley here. But again, another guy who can stop the run, shut down the run, and he's a big body guy. And again, this is college. They're coming from college, right? They're going to develop in the NFL. They're going to develop and lose system and lose defense. We have a lot of great leaders on this defense that are going to be able to take these guys under the wing, show them how to work, what to do, how to get better. And guess what? Lou has weapons. You know it's dangerous when Lou gets weapons because we got rotational guys. Imagine being in a game where we're shutting down the run, but then we can rotate and have fresh guys come in who are good at pass rushing on a third down and long. Or it's a third down and short, and we bring these two guys in. They can shut down the run. This is how you're able to build a defense. It's why you're able to build these units. So I'm very excited for him and both these picks. I think both these picks are going to be great picks for us. And everything that, they're not able to know right away or not good at right away, they will fix and get better at with Lou's defense and learning. And that's something that, these guys are going to come in and be starters day one. I think that there'll be rotational guys day one. And they're over time, eventually, hopefully, one of these guys or both these guys can become starters in our game. And again, when you look at our depth chart here, this is where it really shines. I mean, again, going into this, we have Sheldon Rankins, who's a really good 3-technique pass rusher, but he's not a nose tackle. And we need a nose tackle to shut down the run. Sheldon Rankins wasn't going to shut down the run. Chris Jenkins can shut down the run. And we also have Jackson McKinley over here also can shut down the run. So, very exciting there. And then obviously the wide receiver pick was kind of an interesting one. I don't think it was a receiver pick that me personally thought I personally thought we were going to get. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to work out very well. Now, of course, the receiver we got here is 6 foot tall. He's a little bit smaller side, but what I'm thinking about and how I'm looking at this is if Jamar Chase takes him under his wing and trains him and teaches him how to play a great receiver, I mean, he's going to learn from the best receivers in the game. You have T. Higgins, you got Jamar Chase, and low-key got Trent Irwin too. So he's going to learn how to play at a very high level by the best receivers in the game and one of the best wide receiver coach in the game in Troy Walters. So I'm very excited to see how he develops. Again, at the end of the day, he is 6 foot tall, 194 pounds, and it does say right here that his biggest problem is going to be really just getting, not pushed around. But 6 foot tall isn't really that small. I think he should be absolutely fine, and he is a slot wide receiver. The reason why we drafted this guy is because the fact that Chuck Sizzle was done. Chuck Sizzle is not going to be a wide receiver or a slot receiver in this offense this year. And I think this is kind of the solidified nail in the coffin pick here because look at last year. The guy, Chuck Sizzle, I love Chuck Sizzle a lot, but in the preseason, he got hurt. Go to the regular season, he played a couple of games as punt returner, got hurt, came back. They kept him as punt returner. He played 44 snaps last year. He was a 4th round pick, played 44 snaps. I think with the kickoff rule changing, what they're going to probably do is have Chuck Sizzle be a permanent kick returner and punt returner. And because of his injury problems and injury history, there's no real point to put him on offense anymore. You can't trust that he's going to stay healthy. So if that's the case, you got yourself a new slot receiver. And now you have Yoshi taking that step forward. You got T. Higgins still. You got Jamar Chase still. And obviously you got Trent Irwin. And you kind of run it back with that, right? And that's, again, you could also pick up a free agent. You could bring back Tyler Boyd if you really wanted to. I don't know if they're going to or not at this point because they did draft this guy who's a slot receiver. But that's kind of how I look at it. Now, again, there are some pushback on this pick of, well, this guy had some problems in college and he might be a little bit of a hothead. Jamar Chase will handle it. Trust me. Jamar Chase will figure this out and get this done. So guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. Again, like I said, I love our 3 picks. Maybe I'm biased because I love this team and I have trust and faith in Duke Tobin and Katie Blackburn to get the job done correctly. But I just think, personally speaking, what I looked at going into this draft is a couple of things. I want to fix the offensive line, and I still want to take a guard, by the way. I'm still not happy we don't have a guard yet. But with the picks we have, I'm okay with. I want a guard, though. But I want to fix the offensive line, fix the right tackle position, and also fix Cordell Volson's left guard position. That's number 1 I wanted to do going into this draft. Number 2, I wanted to play CJ Reader. I wanted to get ourselves a good run stuffers and a defense that could actually shut down the run. check. We got that. We got one. Well, 0.5 of one. We got half of one, and we got 0.2, which is the run stuffer, which I like. And then number 3, I wanted to get maybe one cornerback just to help out the secondary. Haven't done that yet. I did want to get a tight end that would be a tight end for the foreseeable future and be the future tight end. Jatavian Sanders still available in the draft. And that's kind of what I looked at going into this. Maybe a punter to kind of fix that problem. But other than that, I'm pretty solid on the rest of this. And receiver, I wasn't really too, like, we need one. But if we did get one, I'd be happy. And I'm actually happy with the pick we got. So tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you in the next one.